Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Lucas here, and I am joined by the ever-loving, and careful and precious Tree. How are you, Tree?
I'm doing good.
You might also know me as Peen. I'll take it. I was going to shy away from that on the podcast, but you know what? I'll just embrace it. That's my stream name, so you know what? It's all good. Anyways, we're here today, me and Tree, to review the movie we saw last night, premiere night, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was amazing. Yes. We'll just start with that.
Very amazing.
Just a good damn movie. If you like the first one, go see this. You'll like this, guaranteed. I think there will be some debate over which is better. We'll get into that here in a sec. Which is better, Guardians 1 or 2. I think 2's better. I think you'd agree, Tree. Yeah. And we'll tell you why. But I can see some people liking the first better, and that's fine. But they're both amazing movies, so yeah, go see that.
You just did a step up.
Right. It took everything and just took it to that next level.
One's great, but one is, of course, an Origins movie. And Origins movie, they tend to be great, but...
Just come a little closer.
They tend to be great, but also it's just like they're spending a lot of time getting together. But this one, it's just like they go right into the action.
No downtime. But we're going to talk about it. But first, a little housekeeping, just to let y'all know what's going on with the Node crew. We recently got a green screen. That's been kind of cool. If you've seen us on streaming, we've been doing that. I want to give a shout out to a lot of people on Twitch. We've had a lot of people support us. So shout out to Crazy Devil. You're the man. Shout out to Chubby Monkey. Shout out to Callie/Junior. You're the man. And shout out to Paisley. All of y'all have been to our streams very consistently, so you are really cool. Just give shouts out there. If you follow us on Twitch or anything and you want to check those people out, please do. We host most of them that do stream, so really, really cool people. Anyways, getting past that, we're looking to get some better equipment here soon. Hopefully, our goal is in the next 3 to 6 months, being able to live stream our podcast and y'all being able to see the video of it. Now, those live streams won't be very interactive because we'll just be doing our podcast. We won't be talking to commenters so much, but we do want to be able to do that, or at least have video podcasts. So that's all coming up. All right. All that to the side. We're also getting a new computer. So we'll be able to do even more streaming and videos, video editing, stuff like that. Anyways, just letting y'all know, keeping you updated with that. All that out of the way, let's get right into Guardians. We get to the movie yesterday. We got the 8:45 showing. Sadly, didn't get to see the local extreme viewing. It was just too late for Tree. You had work this morning. But we did get to see the 8:45 regular showing, and that was fine. That was fine. We want to see it in extreme vision. That's like our local, IMAX kind of. It's not as big as IMAX. It's sort of like a LIMAX, but it's not that expensive. So we're going to see that, but it was fine in a regular theater. So see it in a regular theater. We get there. First thing I'm excited about, they freaking have, y'all can see it in the picture to this video, that Groot we're holding in that picture is a popcorn holder. That was $8, and it looks really good. It is one of the best marketing campaigns I have seen for drinks and popcorn for a movie. So they have the Groot popcorn. They have the Groot cup. It's smaller than that, but it's a soda cup. Looks exactly like it. They also have cups that have little figurines on top, like Drax, and with his swords out. They also have collectible popcorn tins that are metal that look really nice. I decided to get the Groot. I had to get that Groot. It was amazing. So that was awesome. Just coming into the theater on premiere night, it was packed out. Everyone was there to see Guardians. Everyone was super excited. And it was a really cool environment. I haven't had a premiere night environment like that in a while. Not even for The Force Awakens. They did not have a campaign like that for their popcorn and stuff for The Force Awakens, for Star Wars. I was very disappointed in that. They did for Rogue One a little better. But I haven't seen anything this cool, I think, ever, honestly.
I guess maybe they were hesitant on Disney pulling off the Star Wars, but now they're probably going to have a good campaign for Last Jedi.
I hope so, and I think if this popcorn campaign, that's what we'll call it, does well, I know it's going to. You know those groups are going to sell out. Are you kidding me? Yeah. They're precious. Come on, look at that picture. It's amazing. And Groot kind of stole this movie again, right? It's Baby Groot the whole movie. So, I mean, just that's a spoiler. Sorry. We weren't going to do spoilers yet. Apologize, that's a spoiler. It's a great, though. Groot did amazing. So, I think if that does well, then we might see some stuff for Star Wars. But we'll see. Anyways, getting past that, let's set it up like this, Tree. Let's just say how we felt about it, but let's do kind of vague and not do any spoilers. And then after that, we'll get into spoilers. Besides the one I already mentioned. I apologize. Might edit that out. We'll see. So, yeah, first impressions, Tree. Like, obviously, you said you thought it was better than the first. Why? Why do you think it was better than the first?
Well, of course, they're not doing the origins this time, except for maybe a couple of characters. Because, I mean, origins are great and all, but I've never been particularly fond of origins, usually because I already know them, and it just takes so much time building up in that movie, and then at the very end, they finally get into the action.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, we've seen it so many times, too. It's kind of overdone at this point.
But the thing that I think was better in this than the second is just about everything. I mean, they did so much action in this.
A lot of action.
And also, there was big emotional moments in this. Like, just about every character had a step up in character development and emotional trauma and scenes in this.
And there was team development, too. How the team interacts. Like, they're a closer team after this. What you expect. But, like, a lot of movies, sometimes team movies are bad about, okay, let's just make the movie at the end. The team development is just, like, it's very minimal. And it's just, like, implied, you know? Now, here you can feel it. You can feel the team actually building and becoming a stronger unit.
Yeah, plus, I mean, there's a few characters in here who do switching. It's like characters that you knew as bad guys switch to good guys.
We're not going to spoil with any of that. Yeah, you're going to see some kind of switching around. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. Miyazaki did that a lot. People you thought were going to be bad end up kind of being a little good. And the good guy and bad guys aren't always so clear. And I like that in this movie. I mean, there's definitely a clear bad guy in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love it because it's such, if you read the comics, it feels like you're reading a graphic novel. You know, like they're getting into all sorts of trouble. There's all this trouble coming from all different directions. No spoilers here. Not going to tell you who does what. But basically, I mean, you can expect that. That's not spoiling anything. They're getting into trouble. There's a lot of stuff happening. People are after them. There's a big bad guy, but there's some side people who want them too. You know, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. You know, when you're traveling around with the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know they're gonna find some trouble.
And the other thing that was stepped up was comedy.
Definitely,
it was spot on.
It was almost. I mean, it was as funny as Deadpool almost. I'd say.
And that was the thing that was making the second one better than the first, because first one it was great, but there was a couple of characters in there that wasn't getting enough action and screen time, like Drax. Drax was cool in the first one, but he didn't get enough time.
No, he didn't.
In the second one, he gets a lot better funny lines and has more scenes and develops.
Yeah, and kind of playing off that's a big reason I liked it so much. Not just Drax. I thought the way they balanced all the characters in that movie, like without giving anything away, it was just perfect. I mean, everyone gets screen time, everyone gets line, every single character develops in some way. And they took a lot of risks, like I was talking about. We'll get into some of these risks later when we get into the spoiler section. But some of the writing was risky, but it worked, and they pulled it off. That's a movie that's what I love about that director. And he wrote it, too. I didn't know this, but he wrote it. And you can definitely tell that not only do all the characters really know not all the actors really know their characters this time around, but so does the writer, who's also the director. And he did a terrific job. What's his name? I should know it. James Gunn, I think. I'm going to Google this real quick. But no, I mean, like the writing was just, I mean, it was, I don't want to say it was flawless, but it was very near flawless from a writing perspective. I just thought it did a great, great job.
He should be the writer-director for the rest of the Marvel movies.
I'm telling you. Well, the guys who did Civil War, the brothers, are going to do the first Infinity Wars. So it should still be good. Yeah. I'm a little worried how they're going to handle the Guardians, though. The only reason I wouldn't be that worried is these actors do know their parts really, really well. Even Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. Oh my God, he did an amazing voice acting job this time around.
Yeah.
And a lot of I didn't know this, but a lot of Rocket Raccoon's facial expressions they copy from him. So when he's acting, he's also making stuff with his face. Like when he's mad, he's making an angry face. And they put that on Rocket. Obviously, Rocket doesn't look anything like Bradley Cooper, but those same types of emotions you can see. So that was, without a doubt, James Gunn. I got it right. Sweet. Okay. James Gunn did amazing. If you haven't seen his other work, he did Super, starring Rainn Wilson. And he did another movie, and now he's done both the Guardians. I don't know if he wrote the first Guardians. I want to say he at least helped write it. But he definitely wrote this one, and oh my God, James Gunn is a script writer, man. I mean, I was very impressed. To me, the writing can be one of the things that hurts a lot of these superhero movies when we look at and editing. Oh man, but it was beautifully edited. I don't know if I have an editing flaw. I mean, there were a few spots that were a little choppy, but overall the flow to this movie was amazing.
Yeah.
You never felt like it was dragging ever. It was never dragging. And like we've heard, like Angry Joe, we were listening to his review. One of his friends said it's one of the few Marvel movies. Like when it was done, I'm like, no, I want more. Stop. Why are you ending right now? Let's keep going. I want another hour of this. I could have easily watched a 3.5-hour Guardians of the Galaxy movie. No problem.
Yeah.
Kind of like Wolf of Wall Street. That's a 3-hour movie. This isn't that long. But Wolf of Wall Street's a 3-hour movie. That movie, you feel entertained the whole time because it just flows so well. It's edited so well. Guardians 2, same par. That's Scorsese par, son. That's Scorsese par. I mean, I loved it. I mean, what do you thought the flow was pretty good, right?
Yeah, the flow was pretty amazing, and of course the writing was amazing. That to me does also make or break a movie, because especially the superhero movies, because you expect these guys to say good stuff every time. You put like corny stuff in there that doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
Of course, with Guardians, it will probably always
they
fit.
They know how to sell those jokes so well.
But with other superhero movies, when you start putting corny stuff in there that they gotta say, it's just like, what are you doing?
Right. I'll let you know later. Sorry, got a text. But yeah, so honestly, when you're looking at flaws, it's really hard to find a flaw in this movie. I mean, honestly, I can see why some people wouldn't like it. It's not for everyone. Like I said, if you didn't like the first Guardians, this movie's probably not for you. It is just the first one on crack. I don't want to say like, if
you don't like action and comedy, then you probably wouldn't like it. But if you are a fan of both of those,
if you think those mix well, then this movie probably does it better than any other movie. I mean, I liked it better than Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I thought Deadpool was amazing. This is better than Deadpool, hands down.
Yeah, I am a pretty darn big Deadpool fan, but the way this movie was executed compared to Deadpool, it worked.
It was bad. Well, Deadpool has some serious flaws. I would say Deadpool was edited well. It was acted amazing. It had some writing flaws, I think, just here and there. Not in the dialogue. The dialogue was fantastic, but just the overall plot was kind of lacking. Guardians didn't really have that as much. There were some things. I don't want to get into spoilers yet. When I get into things, I think once we start talking about stuff we didn't like, we'll make that a spoiler section. So we're getting there. But there were some snags in the plotline, like I said, I didn't love, but they weren't major. I can forgive them very easily just from how well the movie was executed. Okay, I can't answer that right now either. It's my mother. Everyone's contacting me mid-podcast. What am I supposed to do? All right, well, okay, we're gonna end the non-spoiler section in just a second, but before we do that, let's give it a rating. 1 out of 10. What do you give it, Tree? And then rank it in your Marvel movies. So you say if it makes your top 3, say your top 3. Even if it doesn't, say your top 3. But I know it does already.
Well, it is in my top 3, definitely. Overall rating, I guess I will give it a 10.
Yeah, you're gonna give it the 10?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I will admit I can be a little bit of a film snob sometimes. I can overanalyze stuff. So I'm trying not... To me, like a 10 out of 10 movie doesn't really exist. There are a few movies. It just has to be such a fine level of perfection. So it wasn't quite there. However, I give it a strong 9.5. Like absolutely at least 9.5. Maybe, I don't like doing in-betweens, but this movie almost needs an in-between. And I could easily see like a strong 9.5, kind of a maybe 9.8. I want to see it again before I make that final decision. But there's a decent chance I'll end up giving it a 9.8. It was pretty damn near perfect. It was almost exactly what it needed to be. But it have flaws. So, okay, here's my top 3. My first favorite up until this point, I've said it, I think, on past podcasts, maybe not Broke.as.node, but our old podcast, Electro Lounge. Shout out to that. We don't do that anymore. That kind of fell apart. But my first was always Guardians. My second was Civil War. And my third was maybe Ant-Man, maybe Ultron. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. I like both of those movies a good bit. They weren't amazing, but I still liked them a lot, enough to be my third favorite MCU movie. That's what we're naming, by the way. My favorite top 3 MC Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Now, Guardians 2, it takes number 1, no doubt. It just takes it. It was better than Guardians 1, so I can't not give it that spot. So my top 3 is now Guardians 2, Guardians 1, Civil War. That's it. What about you?
I don't know. I guess I'll say that Guardians 2 is number 1, Civil War is number 2,
Heyo.
And I guess Avengers 2 is number 3.
Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
I liked Age of Ultron. People hate on Age of Ultron. It was a good movie. It was a solid movie. It did what it needed to do. Now, to me, Civil War did that exact same thing, but better. Civil War is easily the best movie with the most superheroes. It really knew how to balance it. But that balancing, Guardians 2 did even better. Because you get development, like we said, with some side characters even that aren't even a part of the 5 main Guardians. Because it's hard to balance 5 people and give them all kind of equal, character development and stuff. But man, oh man, Guardians 2 came really damn close to that.
Yeah.
Really, I'd say the only character that might not have gotten enough screen time, like maybe Rocket for me. Rocket's my favorite though, so I'm biased. But he had some good moments. And Gamora only had like the one big moment, but she had some big moments too. So we won't get into that, but they still got good enough moments to where I'm happy. I could watch a Rocket movie. If they did a Rocket spinoff series, I would watch that. I'm that guy. Yeah. Please do a Rocket and Groot spinoff series. Just, you know what? A 4-episode miniseries that comes to HBO or something like that. That would be amazing. That would be incredible. Please do it. Marvel, make it happen. Yeah. You know people would love it. Okay. So that's going to conclude our non-spoiler section. Now it's time to get into spoilers. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Okay. I had to do that. So we're on spoilers. So first thing I want to talk about is that opening scene. Holy ballsack. You just have the Guardians of the Galaxy teaming up. You don't know exactly what's coming, but some type of monster's coming out of some interdimensional hole or some crap, right? And they start fighting it. Well, you got little baby Groot. He's useless, so he just starts playing freaking ELO. What is it, Mr. Brightside? That was not Mr. Brightside. What's it called? Mr. Blue Skies. Mr. Sun is rising and
song, but
it's a good song.
He was just dancing,
around,
and in the foreground you see the team fighting this monster.
Yeah, but the focus is on Baby Groot just dancing around while they fight this monster, and it's amazing. And the theater could not stop laughing. Like, people could... And Samantha said it best. She's like, I was not ready for that overload of Baby Groot cuteness. Baby Groot is so adorable. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that is maybe one thing that they overdid a little bit was Baby Groot cuteness, but still, it was pretty darn good.
They knew they had to, though. They knew they had to.
I mean... they did balance it out by giving Baby Groot some badass scenes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like that scene where they're like killing all the Ravengers in the Ravenger ship. And one Ravenger, big old grown man, running away from this little bitty plant. And he's just yelling at him.
Oh, it's amazing. So, Groot did incredible.
And they still got Vin Diesel to do the voice.
We weren't sure if Vin Diesel was going to be the voice anymore, but they did. They just changed his voice.
You wanted to know how Vin Diesel sounded high-pitched? There you go.
There you go. There you go. It was pretty great. I'm happy that they did that. But yeah, so we were talking, about character development. Drax really did get a lot of great lines in this movie. Because Drax was definitely not a focus in the first one. Yeah. And he was definitely got the shit end of the stick compared to everyone. And he definitely... They redeemed Drax for this movie. They made me like Drax. I didn't like Drax that much in the first one. But everyone's like, no, he's really good in the comics. You just got to give him more of a chance. He'll grow on you. And they really didn't give him enough time to develop.
I mean, in the first one, they mostly focus on having him be like this revenge machine. Yeah. Trying to get revenge for his dead family. But in this one, he's just all about like having fun, going on adventures, making the most out of the situation.
He's kind of becomes like the backbone for the Guardians. Because you see Peter Quill, you see StarLord kind of start to, falter a little bit there because his father, Egos, the freaking planet, they battle a planet. He's the big bad guy at the end. Yeah. And you saw, like they said, we've heard Angry Joe say, like you saw that twist coming, that it was probably going to be a bad guy, but it was still cool. They still made it work, and it was cool. So it was like a predictable twist, but they knew it was a predictable twist, and they didn't take it too seriously. That's what I love about Guardians. They absolutely, just like Deadpool, they absolutely never take themselves too seriously. They're there to have fun and make a fun, action-packed comedy movie with some drama. But the drama's never too much. It's high drama, but it's like, it's weighted so well, it's balanced so well with comedy that you never feel like it's too much. Yeah. You just feel good,
And it's just cool how they would switch from genre to genre. It's like 1 minute you're freaking laughing your butt off, and then the next minute it's a big emotional scene, and you might get teary-eyed a little bit. Yeah. And then it goes back.
And then there's a joke, and then it's like, another character they actually did really good, who grew on me, I did not like in the first one, but they did great, is, what's his name, the blue guy?
Yondo
had a great role in this movie.
I really did like Yondo in the first one because of how he is. It was cool how his power is.
Yeah, his power is awesome.
His little mind-controlling arrow thing. But I really did love his development in this second one. Oh, yeah.
You can go ahead and bet you're going to see some badass Yondo fighting scenes in this movie. He essentially killed like over 100 men with his arrow.
Yeah.
He does a whole genocide on his crew because they turn against him.
Yeah.
It was intense.
And plus, they did a complete 180 on like the way his character was. It's like in the first one, he was nothing but like this scumbag who was just only doing things for himself.
Yeah, but then you find out this entire time he kind of had more of a heart of gold, and he really did care about Peter Quill. And the reason he kept him and never took him to his dad is because his dad was going to kill him, potentially. Yeah. So he's like, I don't want this kid to die. He's like, I've already sent too many kids to their death. He's like, you know what? Screw this. And so he kept Peter and raised him to be, essentially a guardian of the galaxy. Really. Yeah. So, now, I don't know if you know this, but Yondo, obviously, you saw a little bit of his background. Apparently, his old team is kind of the MCU, their incarnation of the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Because there was an original Guardians of the Galaxy that doesn't have Rocket, doesn't have StarLord. There is a StarLord, but it's not Peter Quill. And so they're changing it up. And I think in that original, StarLord was actually Peter Quill's father, I believe. Don't hold me to this. I don't know a ton of info here. I'm just going off of what I've heard. But this time it's kind of like Yondo, I think, might have had that role. Is it Yondo or Yondu?
Yondo.
Okay. I'm saying it right. Okay. So I think he's Sort of, but anyway, so apparently they're kind of hinting at, you saw Sylvester Stallone, who had a little part, and he was another Ravager, and they had like this guild, apparently.
Yeah.
And so they're referencing kind of, they were the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and now these people are kind of the new ones, sort of, in their MCU. But they might have not ever called themselves that or something, but that's kind of what, because they're changing everything. In the comics, Egos was never Star-Lord's father, apparently. So they're changing that up, but people don't seem to have a huge problem with it. They're kind of just doing their own thing with it, and they did it well, so it works.
Yeah. I mean, because in the comics, it's his father is like the head of this big old empire in the galaxy. I don't think he was like a demigod. He was just a powerful man.
He was just a powerful man, right. Egos is another character, I believe, in the comics, even.
I don't know Egos that well.
I believe. I don't know that for a fact, though. I don't either. We're still kind of comic book noobs, so we're just going off of what we heard and the little bit that we've read. And you've read a ton, but not a ton of Marvel.
Yeah.
You're more of a DC fanboy when it comes to comics.
I gotta get more into the Marvel universe.
We will, one step at a time. But it was done well. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I think we might find out that Egos wasn't his father later on, and we could find out that his father is somebody different. And because of who his father was, he just so happened to be able to have that power or some type of twist like that. I could see that happening. Maybe not. I'm going to say at this point probably not, but I think I could see that being a plot development in like Guardians 3 or something like that.
I mean, I think now they're probably not going to have the Spartax empire. And Spartax being his father.
Yeah, it wouldn't really make too much sense.
Because that probably would have affected the Infinity Wars as well.
Right. Well, that's why I think if there is going to be a twist like that, we're going to see it after the Infinity Wars. We're going to see it in Phase 4. And I think the Guardians are really lining up to be like, hey, let us lead Phase 4. And I honestly think they're going to steal the show in Infinity Wars as it is. I think Marvel, if they're smart, hedge your bets on these guys, because you can't keep making Captain America movies. You know, I mean, you can, but like, come on. At some point, they learned they couldn't keep making Iron Man movies.
And plus, I mean, members of the Guardians of the Galaxy have more of a stake with Thanos than the Avengers do.
Right, exactly.
Sure, the Avengers have had to deal with pawns that Thanos has sent against Earth, but I mean, the Guardians, several members of the Guardians has got more at stake with Thanos.
Yeah.
Like Gamora being the daughter of Thanos.
Yeah. Well, adopted daughter.
Yeah.
Daughter.
I mean, being taken away from her family to become the adopted daughter of Thanos, of course she's got a stake with him.
Yeah.
And Drax having his family killed by Thanos.
Well, it was by the other guy, but under Thanos' orders, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I think, honestly, Phase 4, I was worried about it for a while. This movie kind of relieved some of those worries. I think if they actually put a lot into Guardians of the Galaxy, and because it's looking like we might get some spin-off series, maybe with that team, with Sylvester Stallone and stuff. So the Sylvester Stallone stuff was kind of a weak moment in the movies. I gotta admit, it didn't really fit great, but I think it was just more of a shout out to hardcore fans, so they could be like, oh man, that's what that is, and that's kind of cool. So I didn't mind it. If we got a little spin-off series with that, I wouldn't mind. It just depends. It depends. But I honestly think that, you know what, we want to see superheroes in space, and we want to see it done well, and not because Star Wars is already out there, so you can't take it seriously. And the tone that they take with it, they're just joking around, but it's still really fun, and they still build these awesome characters and this awesome universe. So I think Guardians, in Phase 4, if they put a lot of time and effort into Guardians showing up in more movies, not just Guardians standalone movies, Guardians showing up in Spider-Man. You know? Come on. I mean, let's see that movie.
And also have, members start getting added on, maybe switching out or something, because there's several people that have been in Guardians, like Captain Marvel, Venom.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Well, here's some bad news about Venom. I didn't know this. Me and Troy have an idea for a movie that they should do. We can talk about that idea soon. But here's what sucks why we can't do this movie. Sony has not given the rights to Venom and a few other of the Spider-Man bad guys to MCU. They just gave Spider-Man and just a select few of the bad guys. That's why they're doing a Vulture movie, because no one really cares that much about Vulture. You know, you'd almost think that they'd do another Green Goblin. But no, they're doing Vulture. I mean, the way they're doing Vulture looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the movie.
Makes no sense, though.
Yeah. So Sony is thinking about, they're at least in the talks of doing a rated R Venom movie. That sounds awesome, but it sucks because we're not going to get Venom in the MCU if that happens, guaranteed. So because Sony's kind of trying to take a note from Fox. So it's like MCU is great, but you can't have rated R movies. But if you have rated R movies, they can't be in the MCU. So it's like the catch-22 of a nerd fan. You don't know what to choose. Because, I mean, come on, a rated R Venom movie would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be some crazy gore and
But you're not going to see the Guardians show up. You're not going to see Cap. You're not going to see Iron Man. You're not going to see Spider-Man. I don't know how you can make a Venom movie without Spider-Man. I guess you could. If it's done right. Have some X-Men in there.
Venom's cool, but I don't know if a movie by himself would be.
I don't know if he could carry it.
100%.
A Venom versus Carnage movie might work.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
I don't know much about Carnage, but
Carnage is just Venom on crack. Anyways, so here's me and Troy's idea. Do you remember it, Troy? It's a Spider-Man movie where Venom shows up. And at first, Spider-Man and Venom are fighting, but then it's the good Venom. So he starts to gain control. So he becomes the good Venom, right? Like the Venom that teams up with the Guardians. All right. Well, then, because what we think is, what would it be like?
Well, the one that becomes the good Venom is a soldier, apparently.
Right. So maybe it starts out on the first guy, and then it moves. Spider-Man beats him, and it moves to the soldier, and then he's good. And so Spider-Man starts fighting him. He's like, "No, I'm good." And then, boom! Who comes out of nowhere? Carnage. Now they both got to fight Carnage. Carnage is a bad man pajama. It's a serial killer. Before he got the power, before he got the symbiote, he was a serial killer. So now he's a serial killer with an evil killing machine. So he just kills. He just kills. That's all he exists for. So then Venom and Spider-Man have to fight Carnage. Well, they're losing. So at some point, who shows up? Oh, who just happens to be stopping by? At least one or two members of the Guardians. You don't have to do all five. That'd be awesome. But you don't have to. All you have to do is have like Groot and Rocket show up. Easy. Or Drax and Gamora. StarLord and Rocket. It doesn't matter. Just one or two. Even one. I'd be happy with just StarLord showing up, right? So then whoever shows up helps them. And then he's talking. They finally defeat Carnage, whatever. And then he's talking to Venom at the end of the movie. And it's like, hey, why don't you join the Guardians of the Galaxy?
That would be great.
That would be great, but it probably would never happen. But Marvel, if you're listening to this podcast, if anyone from the MCU is listening to this podcast, think about it. You can steal the idea from us. We give you permission because we just think it would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
So that's our idea.
You gotta at least be working on getting all the movie rights back.
Yeah, definitely.
And Sony, come on.
Yeah, Sony, come on, just give them Venom. Like, just don't hold on to anything. You got better chances of making money with them.
Your time with superhero movies is over.
You did okay. Like, you didn't have a bad run, Sony, but you didn't do what the MCU has done, so just give it up. You haven't even done what Fox has done. Give it up. Fox has done better than you, so just give it up. I don't know. But at the same time, I'm torn because, man, a rated R Venom movie would be really, really cool. But you can't have both. That's what sucks. So I don't know. Yeah, so, okay. Before we end, you can talk about this too. I want to talk about the thing I didn't like about the movie. The only thing I didn't like is Egos. I thought his character, while cool, he was a little crazy and wanted to take over the universe, and a little bit of that didn't make sense. Some of his explaining to Peter Quill, his son, just didn't work for me that great.
Yeah, like when I was watching...
I was a little confused.
When I was watching Angry Joe's review, he kind of laid it out pretty on the point. Like, it's like... Egos was talking about how he was alone in the universe and he couldn't find, like, people to be with and all that. But his end plan was, like, consuming all the planets and the planets becoming him. So then he would just be alone again.
Well, it's like he was just disappointed in development. He was disappointed in life, but he never explained like why. And then he was like, I loved your mom. I loved her so much. That's why I had to kill her. Like, I mean, clearly he was crazy, but like I would have liked a little bit more ego's development, which I understand is hard. There's so many characters in this movie. Giving him more time was probably impossible. Maybe we'll see some deleted scenes where he explains himself a little bit.
The trouble is,
better.
though, I think they were just probably using egos as another Marvel villain for the people to fight in that one movie and dispose of.
Yeah, see, you know, like, to me, even though the movies aren't that great, one of the best Marvel villains so far, by far, has been Loki. Loki has been so good because he keeps coming back. He's a reoccurring bad guy. And they really put a lot of character development. They put more character development in Loki than they do Thor. Let's be real.
I mean, the thing is, he's a flip-flop character. It's like times he will be evil and times he will be good.
Well, in Ragnarok, he's going to be good, it looks like.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the faults of the MCU movies is that a lot of the villains in these movies, they're usually just one-show villains. They're villains that are going to appear and they're going to beat them down in that one fight.
And if they do come back, it's like one of those, oh, crazy, he survived somehow comebacks. And that's been done a lot, you know? Well, that's what I like about Loki is, like, you don't really know what's going to happen with Loki, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have a bad moment, and he's going to have a good moment. And that's in every movie. He's a wild card. He's a wild card. He's really cool. But that's okay. You know, I would have liked a little more character development with Egos, but it is what it is. He's a disposable bad guy. I don't love that trope, but I can accept it because everything else was so damn good.
Yeah,
I can get over it. It's not it's not a huge hang up for me. It still easily gets a 9.5. So that is my biggest downside. Outside of that, there were a few moments where the writing got a little choppy, but I think the editing was so good it just distracted you from that. Like, in that, man, DC needs to take notes because they don't know how to edit their superhero movies. Yeah. And that's obvious. And I mean, think of how good Suicide Squad would have been if Gunn directed and wrote that. Same guy who did Guardians directed and wrote Suicide Squad.
Damn.
Think about that. Those character interactions, stuff like that, would have been so much better, and especially the editing. Well, if they would have got a good editor, whoever edited Guardians, I should know his name. He did it. Whoever did it, it was just amazing. I'm sure it was a team.
And he could have been the one that actually made Superman v Batman a good movie.
He definitely could have. I mean, God, that movie was just. Oof. Well, that movie. You know, when you look at it, there were some writing flaws, definitely. But my biggest problem with that movie, the directing was okay. My biggest problem with that movie was the editing. That's some of the worst editing in a movie I've ever seen. I mean, you might as well rent a B movie from Redbox.
And character,
just choppy.
And character development in that movie
wasn't great. It was okay.
Superman was acting like Batman, all broody and crap.
It was weird.
And they introduced Wonder Woman in a weird way.
It all felt so.
And
damn
using
forced.
Doomsday as a throwaway villain.
Yeah, like what? Doomsday?
Not appearing in the right timeline.
I'm sure he might come back, but again, if Doomsday comes back, it's going to be another one of those. Oh wow, he magically came back. You know, and that's a trope, and I don't like that so much.
And considering that he got defeated by the three of them, if he shows up with the Justice League, Justice League's going to kick his ass.
Well, I mean, he might show up as like a side bad guy one day, even. Like, he might, I don't know, we'll see. Who are they going to be farting? Who are they going to be fighting in the Justice League movie, do we know?
It's probably going to be Darkseid. Darkseid is like DC's Thanos.
Yeah. But, like, why are they doing a Darkseid so early? That's my thing. Like,
Darkseid's invasion is... first invasion on Earth is what actually makes the Justice League.
Okay.
Like, the start of the Justice League in the comics, Darkseid is invading.
Okay.
His parademons are flying all over the place, and then the heroes get together and fight off the first invasion.
Okay.
So that's probably what they're going to go with, and considering I saw parademons in like the visions that they were having, Batman was having in Batman v Superman. That's probably going to happen.
You think so? All right. Well, we'll see. Obviously, we're going to be reviewing Wonder Woman when that movie comes out, as well as Justice League when that comes out. We still watch the DC movies, but buddy, Marvel continues to just deliver. We're into phase 3, man. This is the 15th, 16th MCU movie? Maybe not that much. I'm not sure. Maybe more.
The thing is, DC, you got to get better with your editing and writing, and try not to catch up with MCU.
Yeah, do your own thing. They're trying way too hard to catch up, and because that's not going to work. It's a losing battle. It's a losing battle.
The other flaw with Superman v Batman, because that was like 3 movies trying to act into one movie, and that didn't work. It felt
weird, and it was too long, and the editing was weird, and you just didn't like it. It was just you were glad that movie was over when it was over. I was like, all right, good. I almost walked out. But I was with my cousin, and he was enjoying it, so I was like, all right. I mean, hey, you know what? The thing about Batman Superman is if it came out like 10 years ago, would have been amazing. I would have loved the crap out of it. The problem is now I just have a much higher expectation for my superhero movies.
Yeah, I mean,
they need to be quality.
Marvel Studios has set the bar, so other studios that are doing superhero movies like Fox and Sony and whoever's doing the DC ones, I think it's 21st Century.
Yeah, it's Fox, right? It's not Fox. It's Warner Bros.
Well, those studios, you gotta step up.
You gotta do something, man.
If you want to do this whole Justice League tier thing and follow Marvel Studios' example, then you gotta step up more.
Yeah, I mean, I think just don't try to catch up. Like I said, do your own thing. Fox learned that, and they put out Deadpool, and Deadpool was great. And then they put out Logan. They're just doing their own thing, and Logan was great. We loved Logan. If you listen to the podcast, we loved Logan. Yeah. So if you do your own thing, you can have a decent chance. But I mean, think about it. The reason that like Fox and MCU are separated is because of licensing deals. DCU F's themselves. DCU is going to be separate. There's 2 DCUs. There's the DC universe for Arrow and Flash and all those shows. And then there's a DC universe for the movies. Why? Why would you do that? You can combine these people. Marvel's doing it right, guys. Marvel is doing it right. Look at the shows. The Defenders is about to come out. All of that is canon with the movies. Come on. Why can't you do that? You could have worked that out easy, but you didn't. You effed it up, and now you got a weird situation that never had to exist.
It's like, maybe sure you want to keep those separate, but Marvel does it in a subtle way that makes it where they connect, but stay
not too
separate.
Much, right? They don't go into it hard. It's not like hard canon.
It's like the shows will announce the activities of the Avengers during one episode, or something like that.
Or talk about mention Iron Man, or talk about the event. The event's the big one.
Yeah,
the event in New York, because that event did change things, and these characters are in New York. That was a big event. That was like, as big as 9/11, basically. So it makes sense that they'd reference it a lot. So, I don't know. I just think Marvel's just killing it right now. The Defenders looks cool, by the way. We'll probably do a video review at some point on that.
Yeah.
That movie looks really, really cool. Or the movie, that show looks really, really cool. We're getting that in August. We're getting Spider-Man in July. And we're getting Thor Ragnarok in November. It's going to be a full year for Marvel. And we're only getting 2 DC movies, right?
It's Wonder Woman and maybe the first Justice League movie?
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman and Justice League. So just 2 DC movies. That makes sense. I think next year there's going to be more. Okay, I can't talk right now. People keep calling me. All right, so we got off topic a little bit, but wrapping it up, I mean, go see Guardians, man.
Yeah.
Go see Guardians. We already said everything we can say about it.
It's worth the ticket price.
It's definitely worth the ticket price. That's worth seeing full price and seeing IMAX if you can't even. Like, it's just a good movie. I mean, there's no doubt. So go see it.
And it's worth going 2 or 3 times more.
Go down in our little area down there below the video and like us on Facebook, or come watch us on Twitch. We stream... Oh, my God. Why is she calling me twice? We stream almost every day. We stream on Twitch at least 5-6 days a week. So yeah, come watch us, hang out with us. If you want to get a shout out on the podcast and stuff, absolutely, just come let us know, and we'll give you a little shout out. We've really enjoyed our community. We enjoy everyone who's listening to this now. We appreciate you. We've had a lot of fun these past few weeks, kind of getting to know people and forming little groups and stuff. So more to come, though. Like we said, we're putting all our extra money into this podcast thing and Broke.as.node in general. We just want to grow Broke.as.node. It's a lot of fun, and we just want to keep things getting better and better quality. So it's happening. Just got hold on, it's coming. More is coming. It's going to be cool. Other than that, we're gearing up for MomoCon this month. Into MomoCon, be on the lookout for MomoCon podcast. Oh, and just so you know, the format of the podcast probably now is we're not going to do them as often until we get video, but we do want to put out some every now and then. So we're probably going to hold podcasts just for big events, like a movie we just saw, or we were at MomoCon, or this nerdy thing happened. Oh crap! Tomorrow's free comic book day. Ooh, I just remembered that. I have to make that.
I won't be able to go.
Yeah, you gotta work. That sucks. I've been the last 2 years. Always fun. We go to the local comic book shop, Dr. No. Shout out to Dr. No's. They don't sponsor us, but we love them. No paid advertising here. I just literally go there all the time. Great comic book store. But yeah, anything for you, Tree? To wrap up?
Just want to say, go see Guardians.
Go see Guardians.
It's amazing. And that's all I have to say.
That's all he's got. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll be back next time. Next podcast probably will be MomoCon, and that'll be at the end of the month. So we'll let you know. Maybe something before then. But like I said, check us out on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. We're very active on all those spots. So, all right, guys. Peace out and spread love. I don't know. I got to get a better closer. Peace, guys.
Peace.